Admitted on Saturday, 2 days ago.
Tình năm sẽ khỏi đêm nữa, mình tụ bốn á, chắc là đam.
Ban vô tới đây là thì ôi đã đi năm.
Đêm năm ấy kì, bà ra làm pi cái tiết. Chẳng nếu khu tinh luôn ấy thì có phê cái ở lên mà nó.
Tinh tam tô,
tam tộc tam ta hay tinh năm nữa.
Tinh năm ấy là chạm là riêng như đồ mà liền kiềng.
Nè khác của cái chế chia ba tới, nè khác của cái ở chế chia ba đi, ở đó là chân tới, nè khác là oi tham tới khâu hưởng từ món, nè khác oi tham tới chuyện lừa lục, hay chiều tu tới con không là một là những tràn tại con không chữ thôn ở xa cạp chia ba mình trầm trời rư có tật hua hái, rư có tật từ pe thưa con không một ở những chúng ta có bạ chia ba cài từ ngoài ban, hay mà chuyện nôn tội nam môn lúc chúng ta những sang tại bắt con không từ món người ta dân cài rồi.
Despite the expensive cancer treatment the doctors will need to administer, T's leukemia will be treated free of charge with the same medicines and therapies he would receive if he'd been born in a wealthier country. When Dr. Beat devised the systems that now successfully govern his hospitals, he knew that the primary obstacle he had to overcome was corruption, an evil which is prevalent in most third-world countries. His first step towards that goal was to guarantee that all patients receive free treatment and medication.
If people have not to pay for the medical care for their children, they have not to sell their oxen, their land. So what we are doing, we are even helping the small economical units in this country, the farmers. We prevent the farmers from being ruined because they would pay everything to save the child.
The next step was to ensure that all staff are paid a reasonable salary, therefore removing any temptation for doctors to charge patients under the table for specialized treatment. Throughout its 15-year history, Dr. Beat claims that Canterbury hospitals have remained untainted by corruption. But on the World Health stage, Dr. Beat remains an enigma, whose strict and plain principles are always overshadowed by the glamour of the famous celebrities and politicians who support and publicize many of the policies of the World Health Organization.
I think this activity by the VIPs, by the superstars, for these issues in the developing world and these movies are dangerous and are not helpful because common people think, okay, things are done. But in reality, the things are not done.
Cambodia's total health system budget, which is supported by the World Health Organization, is $52 million a year. But the shocking truth is that due to widespread corruption and inefficiency, only $2 million is actually paid out and filters down through to the healthcare facilities.
We can make a difference. We can help build healthy communities and populations. We can combat ill health. We can do our part to combat poverty and suffering. Nothing in life, as I see it, has more meaning.
Rest assured that I will work tirelessly with my eyes on the goals we agreed on together, my ears open to the voices of all.
Nothing has changed the last 12 or 14 years. Nothing has changed, still the corruption, still no medicine drugs, still 80% of all drugs in Cambodia are fakes.
The World Health Organization maintains a model list of essential medicines that every country's healthcare system should make available and affordable to people. Japanese encephalitis occurs in nearly every country in Asia. and while the disease is presumed to be endemic in Cambodia, the World Health Organization does not believe the problem is widespread enough to warrant a free mass vaccination program. This baby has contracted the JE virus and is in a coma. If he is fortunate enough to recover, it's likely he will have brain damage.
The child has lost consciousness, and we treat now by cocktail, that means cortisone, high dosage, and we hope the child will not have sequela.
Most travel guides and health warnings recommend visitors immunize themselves against Japanese encephalitis before they visit Cambodia. The children of the wealthy Cambodian residents can easily travel across the border to neighboring Thailand or Singapore for the $60 US vaccination. But for the poor, it's been left up to the Cantabopa hospitals to immunize more than 152,000 children, free of charge. The use of CAT scans at Cantabopa hospitals has revealed that Japanese encephalitis is a huge problem in Cambodia, with many children suffering mild to irreparable brain damage due to the disease. Yet the issue has become a political one that Dr. Biat labels as passive genocide.
But we are doing now the vaccine. It's expensive, but from the moral, ethical point of view, you have to do in this country. In Thailand, every child gets a vaccine. In Vietnam, every child. In South Vietnam, in South China too. And here they is blocked.
ពួកខាងពេលគេប្រកាសផ្សាយដំណឹងថាឲ្យយកកូនមកចាក់ឲ្យយកពីថាមួយឆ្នាំដល់3ឆ្នាំឲ្យយកមកចាក់ឆ្នាំការពារអញ្ចឹងគេផ្សាយតាមវិទ្យុក៏ផ្សាយតាមនឹងផ្សាយចា
The 4 Cantabopa hospitals operate on a combined annual budget of $20 million US. Private donations provide 80% of the funding, whilst 10% is contributed each by the Swiss and Cambodian governments. The reliance on private funding allows Dr. Biat the freedom to operate without any political interference. Remarkably, only 5% of the budget is spent on administration costs. This budget efficiency is achieved by staff sharing responsibilities to keep overheads and bureaucracy to a minimum.
All the NGOs working in the medical sector in Cambodia, including WHO and UNICEF, they use 85% of their budget for the salaries of their employees, for the salaries of the foreigners. 85%. Even if it's no corruption. So all this money goes back to the developed world.
Every Saturday night, without fail, Dr. Biat anxiously counts the number of foreign tourists arriving for his cello recital, held weekly in the concert hall adjoining his hospital in Siem Reap province. In the hours leading up to the concert, Dr. Biat follows a strict routine. That includes the edict that he will not shake hands with anyone.
Yes, that's true, because you must be careful that your hands are not too wet for the cello, and I do not talk to people before performance. And after performance, I go very fast, go out.
On the afternoon of every performance, he shares coffee and oranges with 2 of the hospital's most senior doctors, whilst they read him the latest news from the Cambodian papers.
So no news, good news.
Yes, no, it's good news.
The ritual never changes, and Dr. Beat never shifts his focus from the task ahead.
Two beds.
Two.
But the two beds. The second may be empty.
The pressure is on him to make every recital count, as the concerts raise more than $5 million a year for the Cantor Bopa hospitals. To most of the concertgoers, the Swiss pediatrician is a curiosity they've briefly read about in travel guides.
We were driving by with our tuk-tuk driver, and we'd seen this place, and we're told about it when we first arrived on the bus. Mm-hmm. And he mentioned it to us, and we said we wanted to come in here and see it.
He may enjoy some anonymity in Cambodia, but in his home country of Switzerland, he's a household name who's been awarded Swiss Personality of the Year for his humanitarian work.
Das Schweizer Volk so weit weg, 12.000 Kilometer weit weg, das versteht und Sensibilität hat. Also es ist eine Auszeichnung für die Stimmer und es ist eine Auszeichnung für die Spender. Und bei dieser Gelegenheit möchte ich allen vielen Spendern aus der Schweiz herzlich danken.
Back in Cambodia, the doctor stands in the wings, a stranger to his audience, psyching himself to deliver a powerful message that he hopes will sear the conscience of every member of his audience.
You live here in this field of this international humanitarian long-distance tourism. There are experts flying around the world, sleeping next doors in Sofitel Hotel. There they pay per night $340. Coordinators, programmators, administrators. No more anybody is doing a job on the spot. Who could pay $340? And it's not the most expensive hotel here. In the small hotel you pay $1,200 per night. I do not criticize this. But these experts arrive next day and they tell us here what we are doing is too expensive, too sophisticated for this poor country. The average cost per hospitalization, not per night, per hospitalization is $170. These $170 are too expensive, told by the expert, paying per night 30 meters away $340. So this is a mirror of the absurdity in which we are living. This system of absurdity causing at least the misery we are facing day by day in our 3 hospitals. And you can only go on working here in a more or less creative way if you get to be ready to forgive to this system of absurdity we are part of. Otherwise you get to be crazy. Not to resign, to forgive.
Throughout the Third World, an uneasy divide exists between the priorities of prevention and actual hands-on health care. Dr. Beat's hospitals have to cope with the end result of policies riddled by ineptitude and corruption. Five-year-old Seri is in shock due to dengue fever. It could be fatal if she is not treated immediately, and her doctors suspect that she is hemorrhaging internally. Seri's distraught mother travelled on the back of a motorbike, clutching her daughter for 3 hours in the rain to reach the hospital.
ណានៅប៉ុន្តែយើងសង្ឃឹមថាប្រហែលជាយើងអាចជួយនៅតែអាចប្រហែលជាអាចជួយស្រេចស្រង់បានបាទ
Dengue fever is caused by a domestic day-biting mosquito. There is currently no immunization for this virus. Last year, 13,000 severely sick children were hospitalized with this agonizing disease. The World Health Organization recommends that bed nets are the safest way to prevent mosquito-borne diseases. But this strategy is fraught with problems due to the fact that the dengue fever mosquito attacks its prey during the day. It's simply impossible for parents to protect their children with nets 24 hours a day.
You cannot have the children walking around in mosquito nets. So you cannot arrive by these sustainable measures of prevention. They have no efficiency, these measures of prevention, and that's why they are sustainable. If you have today, by a measure, no efficiency, and you have 10 years later no efficiency, so this 10 years is a sustainable development.
Prevention strategies can also be compromised by corruption. 3 years ago, a scandal unfolded when the World Health Organization gave $1 million to help the Cambodian government fund measures to prevent the dengue fever epidemic from breaking out. The months rolled by, but no preventative steps had been taken by the government. The money never reached its recipients and had somehow vanished into thin air.
Should we wait to treat the dengue fever until is no more water? Or should we wait to save these malaria children until they have found the WHO has killed all the mosquitoes? They never arrive to kill all the mosquitoes.
Seri will need expert care to survive. The blood she needs to save her life must first be screened in a laboratory to eliminate any possibility of contamination with HIV and hepatitis B and C. Although these tests are expensive, to do any less, according to Dr. Beat, would be criminal.
And we have to treat these children by transfusions. And that's why I ask the young guests for blood donations, and the older guests I ask for money donations. The guests in between for both. So, money or blood, that's a question today.
I think that was a message that really immediately hit. And I think that was one of the things where almost on the spot you decide, well, this is something that you have to support, because what else can you do?
Yeah, for me, it's just I really want to know that my effort is paying off and it doesn't go into some anonymous fund and several other pockets along the way.
never-ending war waged against the World Health Organization, Dr. Beat is particularly critical of its strategy for fighting one of the most silent and insidious killers of all, tuberculosis.
The tuberculosis is weakening the immunity of all the children. The immunity is reduced. The tuberculosis is a consequence of the war, and the war was brought from outside. And that's one of the reasons why we do not understand our activity here as act of charity or as act of humanitarian aid or assistance, but as act of obligation, as act of justice. The war was brought by the Western world, and with the war, the still ongoing killer number one, the tuberculosis.
The CT scanner, an essential diagnostic tool in the treatment of tuberculosis, has enabled Dr. Beat to paint a precise picture of the true scale of the TB crisis. The findings of his ongoing patient research have the potential to reignite the tuberculosis debate worldwide. The Cantabopa research team is discovering that TB is the underlying cause of many other shocking diseases appearing in children, the extent of which the World Health Organization is yet to fully acknowledge.